Yeah, what's up, man? What's popping with y'all? Yeah, give me a second with this. Yo, y'all, some of my people on here, I see them in rooms and I know they busy. So if I see them in a room, I don't want to, I ain't trying to ping them in here. But y'all, listen, today we're going to get into relationship compatibility and how do you know what's the right partner for you? How do you know if you look at someone's chart? How do you know how is the way we can build the most constructive relationship? Because with relationships, they're either going to go this way or the great way. They're either going to go the great way or the great way. You want to make sure that you maximize healthy relationships, and these spiritual tools can be the perfect tools that guide us. Now, y'all know y'all rocking with the best astrologer in the whole entire universe. And y'all know that I have a new book coming out in a few days that you can pre-order right now. Let me put my website link in here for y'all. And then we're gonna get right into this and make sure y'all ping some people into the room. All right, because I'm gonna leave the I'm gonna you know what, y'all, we're gonna get into it. So relationships. What are relationships? How do you relate? Can you relate to your relationships? Can people relate to you? When you express your likeness, does does the community um respond to that? Because your relationships is what you relate to. But this is tricky because opposites attract, right? The opposite of Libra governs relationships, right? The opposite sign of Libra is Aries. Aries is the self. So you have Libra on one side and then you have relationships on the other. How do we create a vibe so that we know what relationships are the most constructive? Because yeah, everything is a relationship. When you speak to somebody, you're building a relationship. When you go on someone's Instagram and you oh look at his pictures. Oh my God. That's kind of like you're building a your observance of things is always building a relationship. This is why the seventh house of relationships governs perception. Now, as I mentioned before, y'all, um, my new book, Astrosthetics, the astrology of the millennium, goes into all of this on a more in-depth level. But let's get into it because when it comes to relationships, it's all about the self. Relationships are about self. If opposites attract, Libra, Aries, Aries is the self. This means that the self and relationships and partnerships, all relationships, contracts, the seventh house also governs contracts and agreements. Agreements. Remember at the beginning of this, we spoke about likeness and relating. When you want to agree to something, do you relate to everything that you agree with? I'm gonna give y'all 3 seconds to ponder on that. Do you relate to everything you agree with? Like certain people may have a difference in lifestyle, and you might say, I don't relate to that directly, but I agree with where this person is coming from. That is perception. All y'all, all we're talking about right now is the house of relationships that opposes the first house of self. I gotta take a pause sometimes because this stuff is so deep, and it is befuddling to the mind. It's befuddling because relationships are profound. Relationships govern how you see the world. Like if you like sometimes even relationships are not just about sex and that side of it. That is next to relationships. That's Scorpio. Relationships can transform, right? Scorpio, but the art of understanding relationships is something within itself, and it is a very multi-dimensional thing. Because look, let's say you looking at your natal chart, right? Let's say your Venus is in Pisces and you're interested in someone and their Venus is in Scorpio or Cancer. This means that y'all relationships and how y'all go about conducting partnerships, they will share a synergy because Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio are water signs. So when you're looking at planets, you also want to look at the elements. What is the energy surrounding these how someone conducts relationships? Like my Venus is in Aries. So I when it come to my relationships, I know if I like you very fast. You get me? And that's the vibe that I flow on. Our relationships all have a distinctive ebb and flow. So you see how I just mentioned that, let's say you and somebody's Venus is in water. What if your Mercury is opposing his Mercury? This means that even though y'all will agree on relationships, y'all are going to talk about it from a completely different perspective. And you know what? That's actually a slight example because astrologically speaking, I don't even know if that's really possible because Venus and Mercury are very close to the sun. All right, so that's just an example. But you know what? It's like if someone is older than you or maybe like several years younger than you, then there's a chance that y'all could have some oppositions that way. But this is why I tell people, even though relationships govern the seventh house, you want to look at everything. Because what if your Mars is trining his Mars, your Mercury is trining his Mercury or her Mercury, but then your Saturn is opposing his Saturn? How do you deal with things like that? How do you go about agreeing on everything, but the way you manifest and concentrate and focus on these things are completely different? How do you create and y'all, one of these things, y'all, make sure that y'all pre-order my new book. All right? Make sure y'all pre-order my new book because in the book we talk about habit formation. A part of this thing is forming new habits, creating a positive addiction to things, and creating new habits. This is just like in relationships. Like my queen, I love my queen, right? And sometimes I do certain things, and my queen be like, "Yo, babe, I don't know if you could do that. I don't know if you should do that." Right? And it's vice versa. And you know, in relationships, you build constructively. You help each other, but at the same time, it's all about how you see things. What is your perception of the world? Because what is your perception of the opposite sex? If you What is the perception of how does your perception of your father affect how you conduct yourself with around men? How does your perception of your mother influence how you are going to treat women? And as we get older, we start to analyze and elaborate on these things more with like a calculative mind. But all of these things are fundamental to the healing process. And not just the healing process, all right? Because everybody is talking about healing, but like maintaining that vibe, reinforcing positive things, right? Reminding yourself to create new habits, right? Like this morning I woke up, did something completely different, and I'm on Clubhouse at a different time of the day. Y'all know my hours. Y'all know my hours. Y'all know I like getting on Clubhouse around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. But y'all know what I'm saying? What I'm really saying here is that it's about creating a constant synergy, because why? Y'all make sure y'all pre-order my new book. Why? Because the symmetry affects the synergy. Make sure y'all pre-order this new book. And this thing is very important because your symmetry of the world is going to influence how you treat others. The seventh house is the house of other people. That's why I told y'all all we're doing, we just having a discussion about the seventh house. That's all we talking about here. But the seventh house is also vital to the sacral chakra, because the seventh house is associated with the gut feelings. How do you feel about things? How do other people make you feel? How do you get what I'm saying? How do you on a practical fundamental human level, how do other people make you feel? That is the most transformative positive aspect to a relationship. And y'all listen, I'm not just talking about the other sex. We're talking about relationships on a multi-dimensional general level. When you walk past people, when you drive past somebody, we relate to everything. Like, I know when I was younger, when I, like, let's say I was driving down the highway, like I would develop an attachment to the car that was driving next to me for like 30 minutes. You get what I'm saying? We create bonds to relationships. We relate to things. We equivocate ourselves to things. And when we do this, this is when we create an attachment. This is when we create a bond. This is why contracts, y'all, y'all listen, man. Y'all, make sure y'all pre-order my new book, Astrosthetics. Y'all listen, your contacts become your contracts, right? And when it comes to relationships, we have bonds and agreements. y'all understand how everything is everything? But y'all see what I'm saying? It's all about perception. If you're relating to what I'm saying right now, this is some powerful stuff, okay? This is some powerful stuff. And y'all listen, relationships is one of the most is the most is one thing. I'll go in all the way with relationships on public platforms, because your relationships with your family members is going to affect your relationship with your friends. Your relationship with your friends, you could go to when you younger, think about when you was younger and you could have went to one of your friends' house, or you could have heard one of your friends playing music. Think about that. Think about when you was younger, you could have went over to one of your friends' houses and they was playing a song that changed your life. Was that not like, yo, I know there's been people that I met them one time and I heard them playing a song, and I still listen to the song. You get y'all, it's the energy that people send us. You be mindful of the bonds that you create, because you could do one thing that affects the continuum of your whole lifetime, and then sometimes we don't even remember. You got to be very mindful of the bonds that you create. This is why y'all listen. Y'all, I'm very serious, y'all. Make sure y'all pre-order this new book. That's why Saturn is exalted in Libra. This is why a certain generation born in the 1990s, there's a certain generation of people born in the 1990s. They got Saturn and Aries. There's a challenge with them making relationships. Love you. This is why you got like a lot of the children now, they're also socially different, because their Saturn is in Aries. And a lot of these young superstars, they're influencers today. So they're very adamant about self, but there's a challenge with them creating relationships. But look at the music, look at the culture, look at what's directly impacting their personalities, right? The first house, your personality, how you carry yourself, how you appear to the world. If the seventh house is the house of other people, the first house is how do you appear to yourself, man? What directly influences you? What directly aspects you? And y'all, this is why I always stress, and I don't stress at all, but for the sake of an explanation, I always express. I don't stress. I express, right? The fact that relationships are really this vital, cuz y'all, Saturn is like the last in the physical universe. Saturn is the last planet. There are some astrologers that don't even look at Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, or Chiron. There are some astrologers that don't even look at Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron. They'll only look at Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, and yo, that's pretty much it. Right. And of course you have your other calculations in there. Of course you have your ascendant, MC, IC, DC, all of these things. But at the same time, that's the reason why Saturn, this is where you get your judgment. Your judgment. This is judges. Your relationships are kind of like the most vital aspect to this whole reality. It got to be your relationships. This is why it's so important understanding what's critical to you. Even your time. Saturn also governs time. Whatever you spend your time on, you're going to create a relationship with this. If y'all vibing out in my presence, I only want people on a positive vibe. If you're in this room right now, you're only allowed to be on a positive vibe in my presence. Like, yo, and you know what's so wild? I don't know if that sounds mean or not, But if you are in my presence, I only want to be around happy people. Like, yo, I don't care whatever you went through before you started listening to my voice, but I only want you to be in a positive vibe. You feel me? That's the only type of vibes that I choose to um respond to, because I understand that the vibration of that is just that important. I understand the power of creating a positive bond between anything. You always build in relationships. Y'all, if you're in this room, y'all know that the sauce is so serious. Make sure y'all pre-order this new book, Astrostatics. And y'all, I'm so proud of this because everything is copyrighted. The name is trademarked. This is the Libra. You gotta understand the contracts. You gotta understand what you're agreeing to. This is why Libra and Aquarius and Gemini all share a very harmonious relationship. You gotta be very aware of how you're socializing. Yo, Siri. Yo, Siri, what are you doing, Siri? Can one of y'all please hit me in the back channel? Siri just did something weird. Can y'all hear my voice? Let me know if y'all can hear my voice, please. Y'all heard what I said, Siri. Um, please, someone, can y'all hear me? All right. I just want to make sure. All right, yo, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Yo, y'all the best. Y'all the best. But y'all feel what I'm saying though about the importance of creating a constructive relationship. Everything that you are like, um, if you're yo, even if you're, I don't want to say even if you're like on like a idle time, like sometimes we'll just daydream. Even when you're daydreaming, you gotta be mindful of what you're establishing a relationship with. You can't play with these things and deal with relationships like they're just willy-nilly. Some people, relationships are so powerful that some people inherently are born onto this earth with fortunate relationships. And guess what? They never they never they don't experience hardship. They don't experience I don't they don't experience poverty. They don't experience yo, that sound is so invasive. They don't experience poverty. They don't experience lack because of the relationships that they are born with. Your relationships are very important, y'all. But I'm just saying that because like yo, you know what, y'all? I low key have a eighth house stellium, but I really have a seventh house stellium. And this is the house of relationships. So like this could just be me. I would recommend that everybody always do their own independent research, but I think that the relationships are um the most important things, not only in astrology but also in life. You feel me? Because seriously, the relationships that you come into this world with, they influence our whole entire life. They influence our souls on a certain level. You feel me? Everybody talks about the relationships that they have to something. You talk about the relationships, whether it be the relationships that you have to your mom, your dad, your brothers, your friends, like all of the, and it's so funny. We tend to think that relationships is just friends and like the opposite sex. Relationships is everything. This is how you see the world. And within how you see the world, you relate to different things on a completely different level. Now, sex is vital to creation. We all relate to sex differently. which means that we all relate to transforming differently. We all, y'all, make sure y'all pre-order my new book, Astrosthetics. We all alchemize and heal from trauma differently. And now I'm gonna be very, very clear to y'all. Like, yo, I remember the moment when I would get on Instagram and I would just go on these I would go on these epic rants about healing trauma. And now, and then I realized, like, yo, I'm really, really a wave starter. So yeah, now the new wave is, yo, we heal, we healing, we healed already. Healing is a ever continuing process. But now that we heal trauma and we made it cool to talk about it, now we're actively doing it, and the work, uh, the work that we did is now showing in the work that we do. Do y'all feel me? The work that we did is now reflecting in the work that we do. And I'm not saying that you stop healing yourself. I'm saying that I think you got the idea now. Now we must be great because the work that we did is going to reflect in the work that we are currently doing. And now, y'all, I'm about to dip up out of here. But if you're in this room, make sure you pre-order my new book, Astrosthetics. And everybody that pre-orders it before y'all remember, y'all remember, remember I told y'all what's gonna happen. All right, if you go on my Instagram, you're gonna see it. You tap in with me before the wave starts, and I'm gonna hook you up because you blessing me. You blessing me, and we bless each other. And that's why I like the recycle symbol so much. But God is so funny because the recycle symbol is really creation, and the recycle symbol is on garbage. But this is how it's not garbage, it's really recreating. They got this movie called Moonshot where they're talking about plants that eat garbage. We got to save the world. We got to save the world in our own way. We got to dispose of the inner garbage, and we have to create divinity out of that process. And this is what we call spiritual alchemy, I guess. But it's really the work that you did is now showing in the work that you do, because you're born great and you're supposed to just stay that way. Just stay as you are. You know what I'm saying? Just stay as you are. Don't let none of these bitch ass weirdos alter your personality. Just be great and divine as you are. Experience all facets of yourself. When you want to be turned up, you be that way. When you want to, cause y'all, we have all different houses. Like, and I say this all the time. Unless you have a stellium somewhere, I want to see all sides of you. Even if you do have a stellium in one house, I want to see you experience all 12 houses in your chart. So just stay as you are. Just continue to be great as thyself is. Y'all, make sure y'all pre-order my new book, okay? I'm about to hop up out of here. If you want to tap in with the site and be a part of the pre-order, you gotta send me a DM because you can only get in with a password. All right. And you rocking with me. You gonna get your access granted, and we gonna go to a whole new level. I assure you. All right. Now all of y'all are all beautiful, epic, lit, and legendary. And y'all are some of the most successful, great, abundant people on this planet. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your status. The only type of status I care about is where you vibing at. I only want to know where you vibing at. And when you want to stay on this positive vibe, that successful vibe, I am only a part of that frequency, and that's why we here. All right. So make sure y'all tap in with me, and I appreciate y'all very much. My name is Lex. And I'm out of here. But I'm really going in somewhere else. All right. I love y'all very much. Holla at me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.